The biggest names in sports are all on IsraelSportsRadio.com.
Hi, Mr. Woolf. You're on Lewis Live and IsraelSportsRadio.com. How you doing out there?
Fine, thank you.
It's really a pleasure to have you on. We're very excited, and there's a lot to talk to you about and ask you about. And first question I have for you is the Oakland A's. Of course, you're the owner of the ball club. They have a wonderful spring training facility in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm from Phoenix. I still have really great memories of going on Van Buren Street at 52nd Street and watching the A's play there. So talk about what it's like to have a relationship with Phoenix, Arizona, and have the A's train there for spring training in preparation for the regular season.
Well, you brought it up at a good time. I'm getting a little echo on this phone, so if it doesn't disturb you, I can deal with it.
Oh, no, we're fine. We can hear you clear and loud. It's
okay.
Great.
Well, we love playing there. It's really looks like spring training should be. It's not a modern ballpark that emulates the existing ballparks, but it's a lot of fun. You can be close to the players and so on. Unfortunately, the city of Phoenix is having some problems with funding repairs and so on, so we're hoping to stay there, but we also are looking at a relocation nearby in Mesa, Arizona.
Okay, great.
Hi, Mr. Woolf. This is Raphael Gellar. Thank you very much for joining us. We truly appreciate it.
My pleasure.
I wanted to ask you a little bit about your history in baseball. For our listeners out there who don't know, you went to the University of Arizona, and you're a fraternity brother of MLB Commissioner Bud Selig. So I want to ask you, back in the day when you were in college together, did you guys ever imagine that you'd both be future owners in the baseball league, or in the MLB, that is? And do you ever think of Mr. Selig as being a guy who would be the commissioner one day?
Well, I don't even know if either of us knew what a commissioner was in those days. It was the University of Wisconsin, not Arizona. But Selig was always a very high achiever, and we expected a lot out of him. And he fulfilled that very well, as you know.
Right, he did. I mean, yeah, he's done an amazing job. He's been a tenured commissioner for a long time, one of the most popular commissioners. The next thing I wanted to ask you about is you're the owner of, many people in the United States know you for being the co-owner of the Oakland Athletics, but you're also owner of the San Jose Earthquake team, which is an MLS team. So could you tell us a bit about why you decided to purchase that team and your interest in Major League Soccer?
Yeah, we purchased the team with the same main partner we have in the A's, which is John Fisher. And we love it. We love being part of soccer. You guys probably know soccer better than we do. And I was just looking it up before you called. I think we're participating with a group who I don't know too well. Let me see if I can find it here. It's called Peace Through Sports, and I think there's an exhibition game in Miami of two major soccer teams. And in between has Israeli and Palestinian kids will be playing each other. I don't have a lot of details on it.
Wow, that sounds like an amazing event. Maybe Ari and I will do some more research on that.
And it's great because many times our motto here at Israel Sports Radio is building love of Israel, one sports fan at a time. And many times sports can bridge gaps between peoples of different cultures. And here's a fine example right now. You have Israelis and Palestinians playing together. So that's a great thing to see, and we'll certainly keep an eye on that. Mr. Woolf, I wanted to ask you what it was like to take over the A's 2005, and then 2006 they go to the ALCS. So they break through that barrier, get to another round of the playoffs with you being the owner and a few games away from the World Series. I know they didn't go to the World Series, but what was it like to be part of a team that went to the ALCS?
It was extremely exciting. That's what we all live for on the sports side. Unfortunately, since then, as you may know or not know, we believe we need a new venue, a new ballpark, and that generates better revenue, and we haven't been able to make the move we wanted. Therefore, we're sort of David against Goliath, if you need a biblical reference.
Here it is. So that's a great reference.
That's a great, perfect reference.
And we sort of like that. We have Billy Beane, our general manager, who knows how to use talent better than anyone, but this year, for example, our payroll is less than a third of two of the three teams in our division.
Wow.
Makes it a little difficult.
Certainly, many times those A's teams of the last decade were famous for having small payrolls. In fact, Alex Rodriguez and Derek Jeter, I think, made more than a lot of those A's teams. So it's truly impressive what Billy Beane has done by taking the A's to a high level with that payroll. And I guess if you could talk a little bit more about Billy Beane's genius, in my opinion, how he's able to do all this.
Well, Billy is outstanding. He's the best person I've ever come across with an eye for talent in baseball. But also, he would feel defeated if he won the World Series and we lost $30 or $40 million. So he's not into deficit spending like the rest of the world.
And it's been reported that Billy Beane now you gave him part stakes in the team. So could you tell our listeners why that was done? It's very rare when a general manager gets part stake in a team. So could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. When we bought the team, Billy had the right to opt out of his contract. We just, instead of having lawyers and agents and so on, we just had about 2 months on and off of calls and meetings, very friendly, very, what I consider warm. And it became apparent to me that a good general manager, we also have an excellent president, that I thought offering them some equity would be a good idea. It turned out it's been a great idea, and I think I'm the only one in the history of baseball that has done that so far. But it's paid off for us. I don't see turning over presidents and general managers as being the key to success in baseball. I think having them comfortable to know they have a long-term future with us is better. But that's just my view. Other owners feel differently.
Right, and that's a very interesting perspective. We're very happy you could share that with us. I want to remind our listeners right now that we are on with Mr. Louis Woolf. He was the co-owner of the Oakland Athletics and the San Jose Earthquakes. Mr. Woolf, the next thing I wanted to ask you about, you've been involved in a lot of different business ventures, a lot of different things. When did you decide? You went to the Washington University in St. Louis, which is a really big Jewish school, I might add. That's where you got your MBA. When did you decide you wanted to go into business and you wanted to get involved in the hotel business? And could you tell us more about that? Of course, there's so much sports about you, but we also want to know, what you do for a living and all that.
It's a good idea. Basically, I was a real estate appraiser and then got into real estate by moving to California. California was very exciting and open to new ideas, like I think Israel is. And it just sort of morphed from there into business ventures. And then sports was not necessarily a goal of mine. It just happened, and it's a lot of fun, I will tell you, especially at my stage in life.
Right. And, something that's very interesting for our listeners, at least in the United States, in Israel, maybe as well as the United States, you've gotten a lot of credit from the media and et cetera in San Jose for really helping that town, the downtown area, really rejuvenate. And for a lot of people who don't know, San Jose is the 10th biggest city in the United States. I think that's something that no one ever realizes. So can you tell us a little bit more about San Jose and why you've put so much time and commitment into making the city better?
Well, it was part of it was a lot of luck. It was a city that had a decaying downtown in those days when I started working there. There was a lot of redevelopment. I think you use the same term in Israel, and we created a banking center there, a small one. And the city grew and grew. As you know, they call themselves the heart of Silicon Valley. I'm not sure that's exactly correct, but it's a great, it has Stanford Universities nearby and San Jose State University and Santa Clara University. It has a lot going on. In fact, our soccer team, until we have a new stadium, which has been approved recently, is we play at the Santa Clara University. we redid their field, and every reporter that comes to cover our games says it's the best field in Major League Soccer in the United States. So San Jose was just a growing area and still is, and we're very excited about being part of that community.
Now, as Raphael mentioned, of course, you're the owner of the San Jose Earthquakes, and in the past, you've been a co-owner of the Blues and the Golden State Warriors, and again, you currently are the owner of the Athletics, so you are one of the few owners in history to own teams in different sports, and you've hit 4 sports, so pretty impressive. What is that like, to be not just an owner of a team in one sport, but different sports, really go out there and put yourself out on a different level all the time?
Well, first of all, the first two, the hockey and even the basketball, I was fairly passive. With baseball and soccer, I'm very active. Look, it's just a lot of fun. It's competition is fun. Both sports are very youth-oriented. We have lots of kids that gravitate toward both our baseball and soccer players. That's part of the interest for me. I think it's, actually we're dealing with kids as professional athletes, and they relate to younger kids in a very good manner. So I think sport permeates a lot of good things for people.
Right, and that's very important for sports to be a way to reach out to the youth. The next thing I wanted to talk to you about, Mr. Woolf, was the movie Moneyball. It even was in Israel. I know a lot of people that went to go see it in Israel. It was very popular in Israel. I wanted to get your opinion on the movie, not necessarily the acting or if you like the movie, but what were your thoughts on how realistic the movie was and how well it really showed what happened in Oakland in those days? I know you weren't around in the early 2000s, but just being the owner of the Oakland A's when the movie was released, what was that like for you and the whole organization?
I think it was uplifting for all of us. And it was, for a movie, it was pretty accurate. As you know, a lot of times they take license with the stories. But I thought it was quite accurate and quite exciting. Billy certainly enjoyed it, which he should have. It gave our brand a boost. And I think it was a good movie. Of course, Brad Pitt doesn't hurt having him in a movie. I'd be interested to see how it did in Israel.
Right, and I'll tell you, Mr. Wolf, when I went to go see it in the movie theater, I expected, this is Israel, not a lot of people to be there, but it was sold out. And I really enjoyed the film. I thought it was a very interesting story and, not your average baseball story. It really showed what happened in the clubhouse and the ownership, everything, and that's something very unique. Most of these baseball movies aren't like that. Being an owner, a lot of people always have this concept in their head that when you're an owner, that's all you do. You don't do anything else. But in reality, that's not true. Someone who owns a sports team also has his business and all that. So how do you make time to work with all your business stuff and do the sports stuff opposite? How do you do that?
Well, I think I know what I know, and I hope I know what I don't know, and it's very easy to delegate a baseball team to the kind of people I inherited when we bought the team. So very pretty simple. We have a budget, and the key item in the budget is major league salaries, and those salaries should, in our case, be about 50% of our revenue. And if we're able to stay within that parameter, there's really not much for me to do except enjoy the games.
And that's certainly a fun part, obviously a fun job to enjoy the game and to have other people that surround yourself with great baseball minds. Now, of course, as we mentioned, the owner of the Oakland A's have a pretty rich tradition. They have 9 World Series titles, 15 pennants, 14 division titles. The A's have not been as successful as the Yankees, but outside the Yankees and the Cardinals, I believe it's the most World Series titles. So talk about that, that you don't just own any team in baseball. You own a team with a rich tradition. It's been around since 1901, used to be in Philadelphia and Kansas City. So this is a team that really is on the baseball landscape. So talk about that.
Well, you're going back in history. I'm only involved in one of those items, one division title. But for us to succeed, we do need a new ballpark, and we're having a little bit of delay in getting a decision from the commissioner of baseball, my good friend, about moving to San Jose, which is a territory claimed by the Giants, but we feel that we're in a two-team market. There are only 4 two-team markets: New York, Chicago, L.A., Anaheim, and us, and we're the only team, the only two-team market that doesn't share the same geographic boundaries. So I think in the next couple of months, if we get a decision that we're able to relocate, we'll rebuild his franchise to stronger than it's ever been.
Wow, that's very interesting to hear. Then, as you mentioned, Bud Selig earlier in the show, you went to University of Wisconsin with him in Madison, Wisconsin. That is, and you guys were friends, and now you guys are still friends. What is it like? Of course, you're very good friends, but you guys are also. He's not your. I mean, Commissioner's not your boss, but he's the head of all of baseball. He's the guy you have to make requests to. So, how is it like working with him on a professional level and knowing that you guys are great friends, but also have to, be very professional at the same time?
Well, he's really a magical person. I don't know how he is able to continue to manipulate me in the nice way he does, but we're all being very patient as he solves his problem between us and the Giants. He's a unique individual and somebody I like extremely well, even though we're having a huge disagreement on what to do next, but I think eventually it'll work out fine.
Right, and we hope that works out for you. In the last couple of years, the Rangers have really dominated with Nolan Ryan taking over as president. And then, of course, there was that stretch with the Angels. So you guys are definitely in a very, very competitive division. Of course, the Angels are struggling right now, but everyone thinks that's kind of going to go away after a while once Pujols picks up his game and the pitchers start to click. So how is it like, as an owner, motivating your team to keep up with all these teams that are making all these moves, all these huge money moves? How do you tell your ownership, or the guys in your front office, like, guys, we can do this? I mean, you guys are in second place right now in your division. You're only 5 games out from first place, so that's reachable, and that's very impressive considering these other teams that have spent so much money. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on how you talk to your front office and give them motivation to keep doing what they do.
Well, that's a good question. Most of our people have been with us for a lot longer than I have. They're hugely committed to the A's, and we have some very negative environmental working conditions for both the players and the office staff. For example, we share the ballpark toward the end of the season with the Raider football team, which is disgusting to have to deal with. We're all, every day you start a game and you're even when you start, so that doesn't mean you can't win. However, we do know the Angels in Texas have payrolls, 3 times ours, and I think Pujols and one other player equal half of our total payroll.
Right.
But they still got to catch the ball and throw it and hit it. So we're looking for ways to win, but we would love to have a higher revenue situation, which means a new ballpark, and that's a problem. But aside from that, we have a great new manager, Bob Melvin, and a great staff. We're sort of hanging in there pretty well for a team that doesn't quite have the funds that others do.
Great. And I wanted to ask about the signing of Manny Ramirez. It was very controversial around the league. He came back from retirement. He's a great guy. He's a very, very good ball player. What did your scouts see in him that made you think that this guy still could be a great player in the game and that he can contribute to your team?
I think that decision was almost totally Billy's. Frankly, on an economic basis, Manny's a bargain.
Right,
That's
absolutely.
Right. He probably has. I think he's a very wealthy guy, I hope. But at spring training, when he trained with us, he was very appreciative of having an opportunity. He was nothing like the press that I had read the last couple of years. His agent, who's Jewish, by the way, was also very appreciative. He said, "Man, he just wants to end his career on a positive note." So we're counting the days that he'll be available. You know, he has to sit out 50 games.
Right.
So I don't have the number. I'm actually in Paris, so I have to watch our games at 4 in the morning.
Loyalty.
But Manny, frankly, I'll tell you, I've never seen anyone in batting practice hit a ball like that.
Yeah,
since I've been involved. So I hope he comes through for us. If he doesn't, I know he's trying really hard.
Yeah, absolutely, and well said about the press kind of taking things out of control. You know, Manny, I think Manny's a good guy, and he certainly is one of the best hitters we've seen in the last 20 years. So you're very lucky to have him on the A's ball club, and we look forward to him actually playing pretty soon, probably think in less than a month. You know, and look at your roster. You have some players I really like, Josh Reddick and Grant Walford, Brandon McCarthy. But one guy I really like that you have is Bartolo Colon. He won the Cy Young in 2005 with the Angels, and a lot of people thought his career was over. And here he is with the A's, and he leads your team in innings pitched. He's pitched 50 innings. His ERA is under 4, 28 strikeouts. So was that also Billy's decision to take a chance on Bartolo Colon?
Yes, it was. However, you're calling it a bad time because he had a bad night last night.
Right. No, I know. But overall, I'm very impressed that he's got 50 innings, and it's just a good story because I think people wrote him off a little too quickly, in my opinion.
I think you're right. I will tell you this: he is the single most relaxed person in the ballpark.
Wow.
I've never seen anyone so comfortable pitching and having a good time. He said that he's really looking forward to every 5th day, he told me.
That's great to hear from Bartolo Colon. Now, one thing we want to know, because we are in Israel, I know like you mentioned, you're in France, which is not too far from Israel, but we want to know, have you ever been to Israel, ever made a trip out to the Holy Land?
Yes, I have, yes. It's some time now, but my kids go and their grandchildren, so I'm not as loyal as I probably should be, but I did enjoy it when I was there.
It's certainly great whenever someone from the United States is able to visit because there's all this media talk about Israel, makes it and portrays that it's not a safe place. But certainly when you were here, I'm sure you saw it was a country just like another country where people have lives and like sports and all that good stuff just like everybody else.
I felt very, very safe and comfortable there.
Okay, well, Mr. Woolf, we certainly appreciate the time here on Lewis Live and IsraelSportsRadio.com. This was a lot of fun. We know you're very busy, and I know the A's are in second place. We're going to root for them really hard here that they get to the division title in the playoffs and back to the A's glory of old. So thank you again for your time. We really appreciate it.
Well, thanks for the nice call. Bye.
All right, be well. That was Mr. Louis Woolf, who is the owner of the Oakland Athletics. So we certainly appreciate his time here on Lewis Live on IsraelSportsRadio.com.
The biggest names in sports are all on IsraelSportsRadio.com.
Hi, Mr. Woolf. You're on Lewis Live and IsraelSportsRadio.com. How you doing out there?
Fine, thank you.